Zach in here, and in today's video, I want to share with you exactly how to get your first deal in under 48 hours, exactly how to find your deal, most importantly, the principles it takes to get your first deal in under 48 hours, and how exactly you can do it right now in your wholesaling real estate business right now. So before I break it down, do me a big favor, let's break everything down. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and we're going to break it all down, guys. So I'm really excited. I'm just jacked up today to help you guys learn exactly how to get it going, guys. So let's break it down, guys. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, comment below your questions, and as always, I'm here to serve you to make you a better wholesaler. That is the point of these live streams. This is the point of me talking today with you guys. I want to make you a better wholesaler. So let's just check the audio. Make sure that everything's all good. And we're really going to break it down. I really want to get into the nitty gritty of everything on how you can be as successful as possible in your own wholesaling real estate business. Yep, audio's working fine. So let's get into it, right? So let's talk about this, right? You want to get your first deal, right? Like you haven't gotten your first deal yet, and you want to know how to do it, right? Because there's so many wholesalers that's starting out in this business and they get their first deal so quick, right? They get their first deal super excited, super awesome, so amazing. And it might seem like they hit some luck, right? And then some people seem like it's all skill. What I want you to understand is wholesaling real estate is a huge mix of things, right? There's skill involved. Some of it's luck, like you look at fishing, right? In fishing, some of the best fishermen out here and women that fish, is it fisherwomen? I think it's fisherwomen. Angler, say angler, right? Some of them are really good and they just have bad luck sometimes, right? And they don't do well. And people that are really bad at fishing, sometimes they have really good luck, right? So wholesaling real estate, you can look at that. But the one thing I want to tell you is for you to get your first wholesaling real estate deal, there is some luck involved. But the truth is, the more you market, the more you talk to sellers, the quote unquote luckier you get, right? So how do I get quote unquote lucky doing 10, 15, 20 deals a month in my own wholesaling real estate business? Do I get lucky 20 times? No, not really. I do the marketing that can show it, right? So the first lesson I want everybody to understand before we break down the actual steps for you to do, I want you guys to understand this watching is, yes, you can get lucky, but if you market more and really if you just simply have more conversations with sellers, you're just going to get a better chance of getting a deal. This is like if I fish for more hours, there's a better chance that I'm going to get a fish when I'm fishing, right? Or I'm wholesaling, I'm gonna get a deal, right? And that's what I want everybody to understand today. So let's break it down, guys. I'm always excited to hop on here and talk to you. So let's talk about this, right? I want everybody to understand this, okay? A person with killer speed in wholesaling is going to be the person that has average skill. And I want everybody to understand there's a very miscommon nomer out here that you have to be very skillful. You have to be super knowledgeable about wholesaling real estate to get your first deal or to become very successful. And this is not true. If you have speed, you can actually whoop someone's butt that's just average, right? So like you look at sports, look at anything like that, right? If you can implement speed for a lot of sports, you can whoop people's butts, all right? So look at football. If I'm just playing regular high school football, I'm not that good as a wide receiver, but I'm the fastest person there. Really, I can beat an average player like all day, every day if I have insane speed. But the real money is when the real money you can make in wholesaling. And, obviously you look at people who are really good at football. If you can have speed and then adds like average skill with that, it's all over, right? So a beginner with a lot of speed, they're going to do deals, you're going to do well. But if you can have that speed just with average skill, which most people, if they go to freewholesaling.com, they'll know exactly what to do. Like it's really not that complicated. You'll become a lot more successful. And that's what I want to share today with you guys and gals out here is exactly how to get your first deal, how to actually implement speed. And speed comes with a lot of things, right? It's doing lists that make you actually go talk to sellers really quick, right? Like if we have 48 hours, we got 2 days to get a deal, we're going to have to get some pretty speedy lists. We're going to get some speedy scripts. We're going to have to get everything done as quick as possible. Find title companies, cash buyers, all this stuff really quick. And the truth is you can actually do it very quick, effectively, and very successfully as a beginner. I think so many people don't understand this, but if you do it, you'll do well. So if you want to have average skills, right, it's really not that complicated. Like I hate to say it, but it's really not that complicated. All you have to do is stick to the script. And this is literally my sentence I've had for this entire year. And I might just adopt it for 2023 also, but keep it simple. If you keep the wholesaling real estate business simple, you will become successful. You have to just simplify things. When you overthink things, that is when you don't become successful, right? So I've been telling everybody, stop overthinking and start lowballing. If you start lowballing your motivated sellers, I promise you, you'll become successful. If you implement speed, you make a lot of offers, you talk to a lot of sellers, you'll eventually become very successful. The issue is so many wholesalers, they try to make the most complicated script possible, and that's why they're not becoming successful. They don't make it simple. They try to become this expert. They try to be somebody that they're not. And you are not going to be me. You're not going to be this other salesperson, right? You got to be yourself. And once you learn to become yourself and your unique traits and abilities for yourself on how you are great, that's how you become absolutely insane. And that's how you become an animal in wholesaling real estate, so you're as successful as possible. I want you guys to understand this. If you don't understand this, we're going to have some problems. So let's kind of talk about getting your first deal, right? Getting your first deal really comes down to 5 key principles. And if you can honestly take these principles down, you'll do very well. So let me just tell you, if I talk to somebody in wholesaling real estate and they come up to me and they say, Zach, oh my gosh, I haven't got my first deal yet, or I'm trying to get my first deal, or I've been wholesaling for like 3 months here in this market and I just haven't got my first deal yet. I'm not becoming successful. What's going on? Oh my gosh, the world's ending, right? I can really go down to 5 super duper simple key principles to honestly figure out if you're actually successful or not wholesaling, right? Like I can really go down to 5 super key principles to see if you got your first deal yet, right? And if I talk to everybody watching this, you just got to break down the 5 principles of if you're doing this or not. And this will pretty much lead to how successful you're going to be. If you're going to get your first deal in 2 days, stick to the scripts, right? So what is it? Key principle number 1, when you're pulling a list, you have to understand what the motivation of that list is. If you do not have a key trait of motivation in that list, you're not going to be successful. I want everybody to understand this. If there's not a motivation on that seller, this is not a code violation, this is not a pre-foreclosure, right? This is not honestly like a probate, right? If this isn't any of a list, even a drawing for dollars list that like has any motivation, if it's an ugly house, if the seller's not motivated or the property's not motivated, you're probably not in the realm of becoming successful for your wholesaling, getting your first deal. Guys, we have to have conversations with people that want to sell their property. And what is the biggest indicator of somebody wanting to sell their property for cash and getting rid of it and selling it for a discount so we can make a profit off of it? Motivation, right? Like they have to have a reason why they want to sell the property. And if you don't use any of the lists we have at freewholesaling.com, not going to do well. So I just want people to understand that. Number 2, the size of the list. I have a lot of people and I have conversations like this, so I do have to break this down. But if you're talking to 4 people a day and you feel like you're moving rocks and boulders and mountains by doing this, you're not, okay? It's about how quality the list is, but quantity is going to be very, very important too, right? So it's kind of like making, you can make a paper mache hat, right? If it takes you 5 days to make the perfect paper mache hat, it's not better than if it just takes you 2 hours to make a very, very good one, right? It's not, sometimes the time is not worth it when you're trying to get all the crazy quality in there, right? It's better to have more conversations. And I think so many people really get stressed out over this, right? The size of the list is very important too, because if you're talking to 4 sellers a day, those are rookie numbers in this racket. You're going to have to talk to probably hundreds of sellers a day if you want to start getting a lot of deals and you can consistently get wholesaling real estate deals. When you're not doing this, this is when you start just becoming successful, and this is not what you want to be doing. You have to ask yourself, what is the size of the list I have? And am I actually implementing this in my business? And is this actually something that's helping me out? Number 3 here, the action taking on that list. So when I ask people, hey, you haven't gotten your first deal. Okay, what's the list? Is there any motivation with that list? Okay. Number 2 is the size of the list. Number 3 is what kind of action have you taken on this list? And this is probably the most important one because I can break down to everybody who is struggling in their business. And I always have this phrase, and this is a phrase that has helped me so much in my business and something I've been telling everybody, but results equal action, right? And action equals results. So if you are coming to me and you say, Zach, I haven't gotten X result and I don't know why, I'll come back to my math equation and say, okay, so you're wondering why you haven't gotten 5 deals. 5 deals is equal, let's do the math here, 2,500 driving for dollars leads. Okay. Did you cold call 2,500 drive for dollars leads? No. Well, don't expect 5 deals. It's a really simple equation, guys. And I know y'all don't like the math, but it is true. But action equals results. And this is something that's going to be very important. Okay. So 2,500 driving for dollars leads is equal to 5 deals at 50 grand. So let's do 50 grand for 5 deals. All right. So if you come up to me, and I know this right here, that action equals results, and I come over here and you come up to me and say, Zach, I haven't made $50,000. It's your fault, Zach, you haven't made $50,000 in wholesaling. I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm teaching you for free, so why y'all mad at me? But number one, I'm like, okay, let's stop focusing. So I know everybody right here wants to focus on $50,000. Oh my gosh, this is the craziest thing in the world. Stop focusing on that. Stop focusing on the results. The results are sexy. They're great. They're amazing. But why don't we focus on the driving for dollars leads? Because if you focus on the leads, it will equate to the deals and the money. So many people, like they write, oh, I'm going to make 50 grand. I'm going to do 5 deals, 50 grand, 5 deals, 50 grand, 5 deals. Like that's their goal for the year, right? That's what they do. That's all they focus on. That's what they care about. That's not what you should be caring about. You should honestly not care at all what that is. Care about the leads. 2,500 driving for dollars leads. 2,500 driving for dollars leads. 2,500. Like focus on the leads. Make that your actionable goal, not the money. Because if you do the leads, the money will follow, I promise you. But if you don't do that, don't expect anything. And this is the problem most people have in their mindset shifts because gurus never mention this. Hydro Flask is back. But focus on the action, not the results. This is going to be a huge thing that so many people don't want to focus on. But this is the thing that so many wholesalers need to, right? And because I think a lot of people have false expectations when it comes to wholesaling real estate. A lot of people have a lot of false realities that they're going to make $100,000 in 4 hours of work. That's not what it's going to take, okay? This business is legit, and that is good and bad for so many people. The good reason why wholesaling is legit is it's a legitimate business. You can actually do it. You can get really good at it and make hundreds of thousands every single month. That's the good. The con is since it's a legitimate business in the United States of America, it's going to take hard work, dedication, and consistency. And like anything in life, if you want to get that, you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to put the consistent action, and you're going to have to put the skills. You're going to have to put the blood, sweat, and tears. And honestly, nobody that's become a millionaire in this business has not done that. And super cliche, super cliche. You look at your favorite sports stars out here, they all did the work. You look at the top businessmen and women in the entire world, top entrepreneurs, they all had to put in hardest amount of work. None of them got it really easy. So why do you think you're different? You're not different. So if you want to get your first deal, do what everybody else did to get the first deal. They marketed, they sucked it up. They failed. I think everybody failed starting out. And if you're starting out, you're going to have to expect failure. But failure is not going to stop you. You just maybe not get that one deal, and then you go to the next one, right? Like, guys, I fail every single day. You see me cold call. Like, sellers say no to my offers. Roger that. On to the next one, right? Like, I'm unfazed at this point because I've gone through so much of it, right? I've gone through so much adversity. You can't break me, all right? I'm a diamond. So these gurus, I like to equate them to zirconian diamonds, fake diamonds. Where are the fake diamonds, right? The big fat fake diamonds, right? You put a fake diamond under pressure, right? Like you crush a fake diamond, the thing turns into like dust because it's fake. Once you put a fake diamond under pressure, these gurus, okay, once you put them under pressure, they blow up, okay? They're like they fade in the wind. Once you put a real diamond, a genuine real diamond under pressure, nothing can stop it. And how is a real, legitimate diamond formed? Those things are basically like not carbon atoms, right? Like there's pieces of carbon, probably in Sierra Leone, 5,000 miles down in molten lava under so much pressure and heat and the mantle, the crust of the earth. It's under so much pressure and so much stress that that piece of carbon gets created into a diamond. And because that piece, that thing got under so much adversity, stress, and just all this pressure, it finally became that diamond. And once it became that diamond, there's nothing you can do to crush it and destroy it. That is what you have to do. You give me a nice, fat, sexy, fake diamond out here, but that's not what it takes. So if you actually want to know what it takes to legitimately become successful in this business, become a real diamond and not a fake diamond, because you can be the nice fake diamond out here, maybe get 1 or 2 deals lucky, but once you put it under real pressure, you're just going to get crushed. And everyone can see it. This is why the gurus don't work out, right? It's why the gurus don't do live cold calling. This is why the gurus don't do any of this stuff, because if you put a guru under pressure, they turn into dust. And you put me under pressure, you guys see it all the time. Nothing can stop me, guys. I've been through the molten lava of wholesaling real estate. I've been through it all. There's nothing you do to crush me on here, right? I've been through the rigors of this business. And this is what it's going to take. But really what we're talking about today, too, again, is how to get that first deal. And, you know, those rigors are there. They're not as bad as what it takes to consistently get to $1 million in this business, but it takes time. And I know I said that to hype a lot of people up. I know I said that to get people excited. But I want you guys to understand that you don't need to become this insane expert in real estate to get your first, second, third, fourth deal, guys. Like, I'll tell you a story about my first deal, and I've said it a million times, so I don't want to, say it a billion times over. But my first deal, there was a brown spot on the roof. Okay, I was 17 years old, little pipsqueak kid. All right, this is 6 years ago. I was a lot shorter. I was a lot skinnier. I had voice cracks all the time. I was going through the final growth spurt, and it was so funny. I looked at you way younger, and I legit saw brown spots on the roof, and I'm like, oh, it's just a paint stain or something. Like, I legit didn't know. Maybe it's that rust. I didn't know what a roof leak was. Like, doesn't matter because I still lowballed the seller, right? Like, it didn't matter. I got the seller's price first and negotiated from there, and hey, all worked out, got a great deal. But you don't have to be an expert, right? If you can know the basic scripts and the basic skills in wholesaling real estate, you'll get your first deal. And there's living testimonies and testaments on the Wholesaling Offices Referral Group, all the testimonies at freelisting.com. Y'all can see it. You see the interviews. Like, you didn't have to be an expert starting out to be really good at this business, right? Like, you really don't. What you need to do is just take that action, right? So let's go back to number 4. Number 4, a very important principle of getting your first deal is just having the skills and knowledge of the wholesaler. And it's not like having months and years of experience as a wholesaler, but just having enough, right? Like, if you can have enough to get by, you'll be fine, right? So guys, I can teach most people in less than 24 hours sort of the basics of how to talk to a seller, right? Because most people have an 18-year-old kid hop onto me and it's like, hey, Zach, I want to learn how to talk to sellers. If I take you for 2 or 3 hours, I can show you exactly how to probably close deals. And not in a confident way to like close really great deals or something like that, but just like general decent deals, right? Because if you're watching this video and you're 18, right? You've had 18 years, let's say you didn't talk for a year, right? Saying your first words. Social situations, let's say 5. Let's say you've probably had 13 years of solid like human conversations with your mom, dad, school, right? That being said, if you spent 13 years talking to human beings, you have the skill sets of how to communicate to them, right? And that's what wholesaling is, just communicating to a point on closing these deals. And what's the communication, right? Hey, I'm looking to buy your property. Hey, I'm looking to sell my house. Can I go see it? Most people, honestly, if I have somebody training on how to talk to sellers, if you've sold a car outside a dealership, you're pretty much good to go. If you sold anything off of eBay or like you met somebody and sold something, like I remember I had 2 skateboards. And I remember selling one longboard because I didn't need it because I had a nice longboard I got. I just sold it for like $50, I think, on Facebook Marketplace when I think I was like 15. You know, like, hey, I'm looking to sell this longboard. Hey, I'm looking to buy it. Well, it's $60. Is that good? Yeah, it's good. Okay. Minimum Starbucks, sold it. Boom. Like, that's it, right? So just think about that for a second. If I can do that, if I translate that to real estate, obviously I'm not going to be the slick salesperson, like obviously, right? But I have the basic skills, and it's really similar, right? Hey, I'm looking to buy your property. Okay. Are you looking to sell it? Yeah. Why are you looking to sell the house? Can you tell me about the house? Can you tell me about the skateboard, right? Can I see a picture of it? Or maybe I go and look at it. Hey, can you do this price for it? Yeah, I can do this price. Well, I mean, can you do that? That's a little too high. Can you do this? Negotiate in the middle, and then write a piece of paper up for it, right? Like, I don't want to oversimplify this business like too much to make it seem like it's the easiest thing in the world. But when you keep it simple, like I've been saying, and stick to the script, there's easy scripts to do, you're going to do fine. I just don't want people to really stress out over being perfect on everything because you're not going to, right? If you just make progress every single day, you'll do well. And this is what I'm telling all you guys out here. Just progress in your business, get 1% better every day. Don't try to be perfect. And I'm telling you, these are going to be very important principles, right? Let's talk about number 5 here, right? Confidence. And this is the skill set that it's hard for me to teach. It's probably the hardest skill sets to teach. It's not a script. You go to my free wholesaling course and you can instantly get the skill, right? Confidence comes from a lot of things. It comes from experience, but truthfully, confidence is a belief within yourself of whatever you're saying. And what I mean by this, so a lot of wholesalers, I try to get them to get really confident in wholesaling real estate. And what I mean by this is, confident in talking to a seller. And so when I talk to somebody and I'm looking to buy the property, everyone's like, oh my gosh, how do you have all this confidence? And really my confidence is just a belief of what I'm saying. Hey, Mr. Seller, me and my partner looking to buy your property for cash. I say that. And obviously I've done this probably thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times over 6 years. And obviously I have that experience. And that means I have the experience, which helps me lead to confidence. But why was it so easy for you to sell that skateboard? Why was it so easy to sell your car? Because you didn't overcomplicate it. You sort of know a car, but like if somebody asked you about the V12 engine and all these crazy questions about engines and all this stuff, like how many, like generally a lot of people that don't know too much about cars and ask how many cylinders is the car and you don't know. Hey, I don't know, but I can go ask a friend or look it up or look in the manual and I can see it from you, right? Like you have confidence selling the car, like you're not hiding anything. And if somebody asks you a question you don't know, say, hey, let me phone in the expert, right? Like you look at Pawn Stars, right? You look at what Rick Harrison there. Hey, I don't know anything about medieval knives for blacksmiths, but I'll call in an expert. And then they always brought in that guy with the beard that knew everything about everything. And, he'll go talk to you about a World War II Japanese, book, war log. And he'll be an expert in that. And then he'll be an expert in medieval like writing or a WordPress or something like that, right? That guy was crazy. But what I can tell you is that confidence just comes from believing in yourself. It's not a confidence of knowing everything about real estate, right? And I'll be the first to tell you. And everybody thinks I'm this expert when it comes to having conversations with sellers, all these things and real estate and stuff. But like, I'm not an expert when it comes to construction. And I'll tell you straight up, okay? Like I can find a stud in the wall. I've done enough renovations, right? But like, I leave it up to a lot of my handyman. I'll leave it up to my general contractor. I'll leave it up to a lot of people, a lot of the stuff on there, right? I'll tell you straight up, I don't really know how to put on exactly to a T tile roof. Like I know the process works. I know how to do it. I know the cost of it. But like, if you gave me tiles and did a roof, I'm not going to instantly know what to do. I'm not going to be the expert on that. There's a certain tile roof that needs to be replaced. I don't know exactly how much it would cost per se if it's one tile. Tile roofs are not my thing. And I've bought probably 15, 20 houses with tile roofs, like not a lot. So I'm not the tile roof expert. Most of them are shingles in Florida and most of them are metal. There's some tile roofs, some nicer houses, right? But like I like my metal roof, right? I have a metal roof at my place. But what I can tell you is that the tile roofs, I'm not the expert. So if somebody asked me about a question of it, hey, I'm not an expert on tile roofs. I know a lot more about metal and shingle. How do I talk to my roofing guy and I can get back to you and sort of see how much it's going to cost me? You got to understand is that means I'm not an expert with the real estate, right? I'm an expert in talking to the sellers, and I don't lie about it. Like I'm very good at talking to motivated sellers. I'm very good at closing them. I'm not the expert when it comes to the piece of real estate because you don't need to focus on the piece of real estate. Okay, you need to focus on the person, and if you can focus on the person and stick with it, you'll be fine. And so many wholesalers get so choked up and they get so scared. And really, if you can just have a regular conversation with somebody and offer to buy the property cash and don't overcomplicate it, your confidence is going to skyrocket. And if you suck it up enough times, it's going to be second nature to you. Within probably my fourth appointment, I really wasn't too choked up talking to sellers. I was pretty choked up the first 3 ones, but over time, it's not that bad, right? So like, let's say you have a wife or a husband, right? And you think about your first date, your second date, your third date, and fourth and fifth date, right? Like at what date were you not choked up, going out and food and being super nervous, right? Most people, they'd probably say the fourth or fifth or sixth date, right? Like they're not super nervous. And it's the same thing about talking to sellers and doing wholesaling deals. You're not going to be this super scared and nervous all the time. Maybe the first, second, third, fourth, fifth time, but like usually 6 or 7, it's going to be like, like there's nothing really to be nervous on, right? Because the worst is sort of gone. What's the worst someone can say to you? Call you a poopy head, things like that. It's really not going to be the most scariest thing in the world. So many people get really freaked out over it, but it's really not that complicated, right? So we know that. We know what it takes. What I want to really bring it down to the next part here is my top secret ninja marketing strategies, okay? So we're going to break down my top secret ninja marketing strategies to get your first deal in under 48 hours. And we're going to break it down. I'm really excited about this, guys. And it's really not going to be that complicated, right? I think so many people complicate this. And I'm telling you, so many people get very confused. And that's what I'm going to teach you guys today, exactly how to do it. So I'm going to teach you my top secret marketing strategies to get your first deal. So let's really break this down so you know exactly how to do it the right way. So let's start with the first one. This is really simple. This is just, I've talked about this a lot this month. And I'll keep talking about it until the challenge is over, but I'm in the midst of a Drawing for Deals challenge where so many people get their first deal. A lot of people change their lives. It's great. But really, drawing for dollars, reverse drawing for dollars, and I'm not going to gloss over this, but I'm going to make it sort of quick because I've said this thing so many times. But if you can go in your car and just look for ugly looking houses, it's going to be not simple to get your first deal, but it's going to be the easiest and most efficient way to get your first wholesaling deal. I think so many wholesalers overcomplicated it, especially their marketing and their cold calling, their list polling. So if you just go in your car, look for ugly houses, have conversations with people that have ugly houses, that's going to be your best, fastest, most effective way to get your first deal. And it's really cheap, right? Like maybe $100 in a month to do all of it. It's really not that complicated. It doesn't take any skills looking for ugly houses. You can tell if it's an ugly house or not, right? I mean, most people lived in a house their entire life, so not that complicated, right? Thinking number 2, I think about cold calling government lists. Cold calling government lists, right? What are government lists? These are lists you get from the government absolutely for free. So if you have no money, you're doing virtual wholesaling, this is an amazing, absolute killer strategy for your success. So how do you cold call government lists, right? All you got to do is pull a government list. So these can be a code violation, water shutoff, fire damage property, pre-foreclosure, heck, even the arrest record list, right? Probates, IRS debt lien list, tax lien list. You can get the credit card debt lien list also on top of that, right? That there's really not, I mean, there's less than 15 government type lists, but there's a lot more out there, right? You can go your bail bondsman, right? There's a lot of type of government type lists out there you can pull, but I really like to stick to most beginners for the code violations. And once you can kind of branch off over there, you'll do a lot better. I'm not the biggest fan of cold calling pre-foreclosures. That's going to be really good. I kind of omitted SMS text blasting off of just because a lot of people already know about SMS text blasting. but like you can. I think a lot of beginners in 48 hours can be a little tougher to get the first deal in 48 hours from SMS text blasting. It's a little more of a long play with follow-ups. So cold calling is going to be a lot quicker. Number 3, Zillow for sale by owners. Now I want you guys to understand this when I say Zillow for sale by owners, that you're not going to make 50 grand your first deal off of Zillow for sale by owner, right? You're going to get a contract and talk to sellers really, really fast, which is good. But unfortunately, you're probably not going to get a really big fat deal, right? You're going to talk to sellers really quick. This is why I love my live cold calling on Zillow for sale by owners. And I have a gripe. I'll tell you at the end of this. I'm having a problem on my Zillow for sale by owners. They keep closing deals, and then all these gurus keep calling my sellers after. So I'll tell you, we have a new format for live cold calling because y'all are crazy, and I'm trying to close deals in front of y'all. But I'll talk to you later. It's not really, it won't change anything really. But I'll tell you about the Zillow for sale by owners. So on the Zillow for sale by owner properties, you get deals really quick. And you guys see when I do my live cold calls, I'll get a deal pretty fast. Like within an hour or two, I'll close 1 or 2 deals and probably make $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 on that deal right in front of you, absolutely live. Nobody else does it because I'm the only one that does it, because I know how to close sellers. I'm not a stinking broke wholesaling real estate guru. And really, I think anybody, probably if they put 5, 6, 7, 8 hours into it, they'll probably get a deal, maybe make 4 or 5 grand. Not the craziest thing in the world, but honestly, not bad. It's a lot tougher to sell these deals, but if you get really good discounts on it, you go to freewholesaling.com. I show you really how to make offers on these type of deals. I prefer 75% of the listing price, just cold offer off the bat the most. Heck, even bring it to 70 sometimes. I'd say 70 for a lot of sellers out here. You'll do better. Number 4 here. These are paid lists, right? I know a lot of people, they don't want to pull the free list. They don't have time. Pull a niche list, right? You can pull a paid list, right? I get really niche down the list. If you use like listria.com, PropStream, you can use ZacData.com, Batch Leads, you can use any of them. Those are always really good. But ultimately, it's up to you which niche list, which quote unquote paid list you want to use. You get vacant pre-foreclosures. You just get vacants with high equity. Make sure they don't own 5 more deals, right? Make sure there's 60% equity. The property is not worth more than this. Like, you get really niched out on the type of list. Maybe a list that also has a lien on it, a tired landlord list, right? These are lists you obviously have to pay for. So listrei.com, listrei.com is how you get a lot of these great ones. ZacData.com. They're both they're very similar, right? I call PropStream and Batch Leads the Lowe's hammer and the Home Depot hammer, right? Like, they're both hammers. They're both going to just hammer the nail. Somebody might like this hammer over the other, but really, like, stop stressing over the hammer and start hammering, right? But you should probably use one of those if you want to use a paid list, right? And they both have free drawing for dollars apps on there too. And then obviously, if you want to get serious about your drawing for dollars, you can use like Deal Machines, DMZac.com. That's a whole different one for another day. But really, guys, if you want to get your first real estate wholesaling done under 48 hours, it's really going to come down to those things. It's going to come down to cold calling a said list, pulling that list and skip tracing that list. You can do some reverse drawing for dollars on there, put sticky notes on properties, or drive for dollars and cold call them. Or you can SMS text blast, let's say a niche list. But really, most wholesalers get their first deal from those strategies.